Welcome to the world of probiotic foods. This is Cultured Food Life with your host, Donna Schwenk.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to the show, and I am so glad you're here. And today we're going to talk about cholesterol and your bacteria. And there's a lot of information, a lot of research now that's come through about how your body gets rid of cholesterol and keeps it in balance. And it's really interesting. And I have a really good friend that texted me not too long ago, and she drinks a ton of kefir and eats a lot of cultured foods. And she texted me one afternoon and said that her cholesterol had gone through the roof. And then she texted me again and said, my good cholesterol, and my doctor wants to know what I'm doing and to keep doing it. And she is one person who drinks a lot of kefir every day, at least two and a half, 3 cups. She does it a lot. And I have really seen it change her health in the last few years. She was pretty sick when we first met, and watching it transform her health, and not only her health, but so many of other people that I've helped, it's an amazing thing. But it always helps if you understand why something's working or why it's good to do it. And when you have that knowledge and you have that information, then it makes it easier for you to make the choice. So I'm going to give you some research and some stories and some things that are really, it's quite fascinating how the body works. And one of the first studies I ever read about cholesterol and bacteria, it was a double-blinded study, and it had 60 volunteers, and they were aged 18 to 65. And they wanted to see the effects of probiotics on cholesterol. So each day for 12 weeks, one group received a capsule, and that capsule contained 120 billion viable bacteria. And the bacteria that they got was Lactobacillus plantarum, and that was the strain that they used. And that is the main bacteria that's in cultured vegetables, and it naturally makes it when you make cultured vegetables. And that was one of the bacteria they use, and it's an extremely powerful one. And then the other group got a placebo. And there was a 13.6% overall reduction in cholesterol in people who took the probiotic compared to the people who took the placebo. And the participants with the highest cholesterol at the start of the study reduced their total cholesterol by 17.4%. And this is their LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol. And it was lowered by 17.6% compared with the placebo group. And that's pretty impressive. And there was a significant reduction in total cholesterol overall. And what's interesting to me was that this particular bacteria, Lactobacillus plantarum, is a strain that is very, very powerful, but it doesn't last in the body very long. So it's a transient bacteria, so it doesn't really stay and make you its host for very long, for just a few days. So you need to continue to eat it or take the supplement. But as I have showed you in these radio shows and on my website, eating cultured foods is much more effective than taking supplements. At least that's what I have seen over and over again, not with the people I help with myself. And that's because the bacteria has a food source that it attaches itself to, and it speeds to the part of the body where it can get to speedily, whereas probiotic supplements can often sit in the stomach acids and be killed. So you have to take a lot more of them, and they're expensive. And the really cool thing about cultured foods and these different bacteria is that you can just make them so inexpensively. And a lot of these cultures that you get, you use them over and over and over again. Some of them last your lifetime. So it's an inexpensive way to get your probiotics. And it's also better for your body because your body likes it better, because your body likes things that come in food forms, and it uses it more efficiently. There was another study they did, and they gave participants live yogurt with different strains of lactobacillus. And there's many different strains of lactobacillus. But after 6 weeks, researchers found that all of them had a reduction in their LDL cholesterol, and it was about 10%, and with a total cholesterol reduction of 5%. And the same group performed a second trial, and they had similar results. And since that time, they've done 4 more trials, and the same thing happened again. And this is with just yogurt. Now, yogurt is not as strong as kefir. Yogurt only has about 3 to 7 bacteria in it, while kefir has over 50 plus. And within myself and the people that I know that have contacted me, they see a much more significant reduction with kefir than they do over yogurt, although yogurt's good too. And one of the reasons is because there's so many strains of bacteria in kefir as compared to yogurt. One reason that probiotics help lower cholesterol is because this is really interesting. Bacteria consumes the soluble fibers, which they call them prebiotic fibers or soluble fibers, in the small intestines and create acids, one of which is called propionic acid. And this particular acid reduces productions of cholesterol by the liver. And that's because of the bacteria that's doing it. Another way probiotics bring down cholesterol levels is that as the bacteria that you eat grows in this intestinal tract, they consume some of the cholesterol that is present there, and they incorporate it into their own cells. And so what happens is then the cholesterol isn't available for absorption into the bloodstream, so it naturally lowers your cholesterol. And so basically they're eating the cholesterol to use as food for themselves, and then you don't get it. So let's explain something about what is cholesterol and why do we need it. We actually need it in our bodies. It's really important. And this soft, waxy substance that is found not only in your bloodstream, but it's also in every cell in your body. This cholesterol helps to produce the cell membranes, hormones, vitamin D, bile acids, and it also helps you digest fats. And it really helps neurological function, and it's responsible for the brain formations of memory. Your liver makes about 3/4 or more of your body's cholesterol. And HDL, this is the good cholesterol that we talk about a lot, that helps keep cholesterol away and out of your arteries and removes any excess, which helps to prevent heart disease. And the low density lipoproteins or LDLs, this is what they consider the not so good cholesterol, that circulates in your blood and according to conventional thinking, may build up in your arteries, forming plaque that makes your arteries narrow and less flexible. And if a clot forms in one of those, those arteries can lead to a stroke or a heart attack, and it can be very devastating to the body. But we all need cholesterol, but we need the right kind of cholesterol and the appropriate amounts. And just like bacteria, when the bacteria builds up, they make a war against different things in the body. They fight pathogens and foreign invaders. But so many people just want to kill bacteria with antibiotics and antibacterial soaps, and they don't realize how much bacteria is helping our bodies. And it's also important to understand that cholesterol is important to our bodies too. I mean, our cells, our body would leak if we didn't have that waxy, soft substance holding things together in our body. And it's the same thing with anything. People think, okay, cholesterol is just bad, but it really isn't bad. And they thought bacteria was bad, but it isn't bad. There's good and bad. You need balance in your body on both counts. And we need to understand why things get out of control the way they do. And there's a lot of new information about cholesterol, and many of the theories that people have pretty much been stable on, that, you want to get rid of cholesterol, is starting to crumble as people start to understand what's actually happening with cholesterol and heart disease. And they're actually saying that the inflammation in the body is the problem more so than the cholesterol. And that's causing our arteries to stiffen and get hard. And cholesterol does build up in these things, but inflammation is a key factor in that. And so we need to change not only what we eat by eating foods that support us, for instance, foods that have probiotics in them that help reduce and eat some of the cholesterol in our bodies and helps to bring balance without us even knowing it, but also to reduce inflammation so that inflammation doesn't go crazy throughout the body and create a lot of the problems with heart disease and strokes that we see today. So if your body could speak to you and it could say, I can help you fix this by changing your diet and a few things in your life, if your body was talking to you like that, would you do it? Would you listen if it could speak to you, or would you just opt to take the drugs or and not really change your lifestyle? But the problem is most people don't understand it. Most people don't know what's really happening in the body, and unless there's a crisis, most people don't want to change. But we have choices that become habits. And so as we change the way that we do things, we can become addicted to the foods that make us well. And they can help us so much, and not just culture foods, but all foods. There's so much value in foods that we don't even understand because we're just eating it non-discriminatively, acting, not really understanding that it's making the cells of our body. But when you start to really understand how things work and you start to really feed your body the things that it needs, it becomes effortless to eat those foods that are good for us. It's not even hard anymore. You start to crave, your taste buds change. The bacteria in your gut changes and craves different foods. The more fruits and vegetables you eat, the more you crave them. And the more healthy foods you eat. And that includes good fats, good proteins. There's so many desirable foods that our body, is making the building blocks of our life with. And as you start to understand how these food work, they change. They make the cells of your body, and they change everything. If you're worried about your cholesterol or an ailment of any kind, it really is a blessing in disguise. It's a chance for you to change your life and your body. And it's why it's happening to you. It's your body's cry for help. And your body's producing these ailments to try to get your attention. And you hold the keys to this. You hold the keys to your life, to the way your body takes you throughout the day. It can give you energy. You can be depleted, but it all depends on what you're putting in your mouth, the thoughts you're thinking, the stresses in your life. But the cells of your body are made up from the foods that you eat. And when you become a team with your body and you strengthen your gut bacteria, you strengthen the bacteria throughout your whole body, everything starts to work in harmony, and you'll feel it. And you don't have to listen to me. Your body will teach you that. It was interesting this week. I was reading some information, and in the mornings I always have kefir in the morning. And then I always have berries in the morning. This time of year, the strawberries around here taste like candy. And I put blackberries and strawberries, and I put it in a bowl, and I have a little of this protein powder I put in that's made out of either pea protein or hemp. I can't remember which one it is. And I mix it all with my kefir because it makes it thick. And then I add just tons of berries. And I always find that whenever I eat that particular breakfast, and then sometimes I put sliced almonds on top. And whenever I eat that particular breakfast, I have energy for hours and hours and hours, more than I do when I eat other things. Well, come to find out that berries have special abilities in them. They're special compounds that give you twice the energy that other foods do, plus the vitamin C and things. And I've noticed that there's something in these berries that really, and I eat a lot of them in the morning, that maybe a cup and a half to 2 cups, and put them in with my kefir. And I can't believe how much energy I have just from that one meal. And the more I researched it, the more I realized that the special compounds that are in berries, they're meant to do that for you. They're meant to give you long sustaining energy. And so as I just started eating them all the time because I started to experiment. I would have them at different times of the day to see the same thing happen. And lo and behold, it did. And when I combined it with kefir, it seemed to really, really work effectively for me. And this is just one of the ways that I do every day to try to find something to help my body to give me more energy. I'm really busy. I'm doing a lot of things to run this business, and I have a staff of people, and it's a wonderful thing, but it's a lot. It's a lot of work. And so I'm always looking for more energy to live my life in the fullest way possible. And a lot of people think they want ease and less things to do. And a lot of the reasons that we want this because we don't feel good. But when you feel good, all I can think of is, wait till I tell people about this. Maybe they don't know about this. Maybe this will help them. Because I remember what it was like when I didn't feel good. It was awful. I didn't have energy. I didn't want to do anything. And I didn't have any desire or energy to build a business or I don't even know how that all happens. It just happened so fast. And it happened after felt better. I was so sick. And once I started to feel better, I mean, my world exploded. You couldn't stop me. And it's a wonderful thing to feel good because you want to help other people. And understanding that, why we have cholesterol or how it works in our bodies and what our bodies do with it and how it's manufactured and how it's lessened and how it's increased. And there's so many different things that it entails that if you don't understand it, you don't know what to do. And so bacteria is very, very helpful, and probiotics are very helpful in lowering your cholesterol. And it's also done without you knowing about it. It's going about your day, and lots of strains of good bacteria are eating up some of the cholesterol in your body. It's balancing things. Acids are made to reduce it. And it's kind of a magnificent machine that we live in. And I hope these shows will help you to see that. I hope these shows will help you to see that the bodies we live in are just a crazy intelligence going on 24 hours a day on our behalf to help us, to keep us well. And when you really click into that, and when you start to work with your body, you start paying attention to the foods that give you energy and the foods that don't, it can change everything for you. And you just kind of get on this little mission, and before you know it, the foods you used to eat that weren't good for you just become a thing of the past. It's an effortless decision because you just changed a few of your habits, and little by little, you just started cramming in the good stuff, and the bad stuff started to fade away. And I honestly think that the more I see, there's just so many different diets on the planet, guys. I have people with so many diverse diets, but it's wonderful because cultured foods fit into every single one of them. We've got kefir, which could be dairy or non-dairy, and so it fits into everybody's lifestyle. You can make coconut or almond or cashew. You can make goat's milk. You can make regular milk. You can do all kinds of kefir, and it fits into any lifestyle. Cultured vegetables, everybody can eat cultured vegetables. They're fantastic for you, no matter what kind of diet you're on, whether it's vegan, paleo, raw foods, those work. And the same with kombucha tea. Everybody can have that. And it's a wonderful tool in your arsenal to keep you healthy. And they're just foods you add to your diet. You don't even have to change your whole diet. In the very beginning, all I did was add them to my diet. And little by little, it helped me to feel better. And then I started cleaning up the rest of my diet. And 18 years later, everything has changed. And everything changed because I felt better. And it has been an incredible journey for me. So I hope this will help you. I've even got some more information, some more research on my website at culturedfoodlife.com. Just type in cholesterol and it'll come up with all the studies I have. I have even more than what I've showed you on here. And I hope it'll help you. I hope it'll help you to not be so scared of maybe a bad diagnosis, that there's always help for you. There's always answers. The body's such a beautiful machine, but it's also your vessel that you live in. So I'm just sharing with you what I've learned. We're all in this together, helping each other anyway. Everybody has gifts. Everybody has things that they're good at that we all share with each other and help each other on this journey of life. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope this will shed some light on some things that you can do to help your body and your cholesterol. And I hope you share it with one another. Have a great one, guys.